If you're a Family Guy fan, you know Meg Griffin's life is a total disaster. Today, we're diving into 25 crazy facts about Meg that'll make you see her in a whole new light. Let's go! Number 1. Hot Dog. Home movie. Alright, let's start with one of the most bizarre gags in Family Guy, Meg and hot dogs. In one episode, Meg desperately wants to get expelled from school. Why? Because, school is hard, bullying is tough, and, well, she wants to get out of there. So, what does she do? She records a video with a pack of hot dogs, which, for reasons I still can't fully comprehend, she holds up and says,
"I'm gonna pretend you're the New York Knicks."
I'm cringing just saying that. It's not only weird, it's disturbing. And then, for even more Meg chaos, the video barely gets any views except for one. Stewie, who is utterly disgusted by it. Meg, you ruined hot dogs for everyone. Number 2. Strangling strays. Moving on to something a little darker, Meg has some seriously messed up tendencies. We find out that she has a strange and dangerous hobby, strangling stray cats. Yep, that's right. This girl has no qualms about harming innocent animals in her spare time. But it doesn't stop there. In one episode, she convinces her brother Chris to help her poison squirrels. I mean, can we all agree that Meg has some serious issues? This isn't just an odd character quirk, it's downright disturbing. There's definitely something darker lurking under Meg's surface, and if we're being honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we eventually see her take a darker path. Harming small animals is a classic warning sign after all. Number 3. The locker secret. Now, this one is a little bizarre, even by Meg standards. There's an episode where Meg's friends approach her locker, and when they open it, they discover something shocking. A baby. Yep, Meg is apparently hiding a baby in her locker. And not just any baby, she's got it stashed away, like it's some casual, everyday occurrence. As if that's not enough, it raises the question, how in the world did Meg even get this baby in the first place? I mean, she spends every episode desperately trying to get a date. How does she keep a baby in a locker? Does she have a secret love affair with some random guy? We may never know. Number 4. A Meg, by any other name. If you think Meg is bad now, wait until you see her future self. In a mind-bending Family Guy time travel episode, Meg's future self is no longer Meg, she's Ron Griffin. Yeah, you heard me right, Ron. In this future timeline, she abandons her gender entirely and turns into a burly man with a mustache.
Hey, we get it, Ron, you're a guy.
I know, it's crazy, right? But guess what? Even though her gender changed, her behavior didn't. Ron is just as irritating and obnoxious as Meg is. I guess some things never change, whether she's in the past, present, or future. Meg, or should I say Ron, will always be the family's punching bag. Number 5. Joe Swanson's wifeless wonder. Meg's obsession with Joe Swanson is pretty creepy, to say the least. She's so obsessed with Joe, she decides to act as his caretaker and starts imagining that life would be better if his wife, Bonnie, were out of the picture. But Meg doesn't just daydream about it. She actively gets Bonnie arrested. And why? So she can wear Bonnie's dress and pretend to be his wife. Meg, that's messed up on a whole other level. And while it all gets sorted out in typical Family Guy fashion, with no long-term consequences for Meg, I mean, come on. If I were Bonnie, I'd be furious. Number 6. The clubbing disaster. Ah, the classic case of Meg wanting to fit in. In one episode, Meg is invited to join a club. Sounds like a great opportunity, right? Well, not exactly. The club is a group of girls who like other girls. And since Meg is desperate to fit in anywhere, she pretends to be one of them. Lois sees right through her act and shows her what it truly means when a girl likes another girl. The worst part? Meg's fake identity gets exposed, and she loses whatever small amount of social acceptance she had gained. But hey, at least it was a good learning moment for Meg, right? Number 7. Foot model fail. Meg, foot model. Yeah, that's a thing. In one bizarre episode, Meg gets scouted to become a foot model. At first, it's all about her as a fashion model, but then, plot twist. They just want pictures of her feet. Now, don't get me wrong, I have no clue what makes cartoon feet attractive. But apparently Megs are prime real estate for a foot fetish website. Honestly, I'm still processing this one.
Oh my god!
I mean, Meg's feet are the one thing people can't stop talking about? Well, you know what they say, everything's attractive to someone. Number 8. Secret Agent Meg. Meg's secret agent career isn't exactly what I'd call impressive. In a crazy Family Guy episode, Stewie and Brian are working with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd to uncover sleeper agents in Quahog. They drop a secret code word, and who suddenly springs into action? That's right, Meg. She picks up the phone, speaks fluent Russian, and becomes a sleeper agent. It's like all this time, we've had Meg hiding her true spy nature. But of course, the story ends with her getting shut down by a Russian agent on the other end, telling her to shut up.
Shut up, 247.
No surprise there, she annoys people even across the globe. Number 9, the salt mystery. Here's a strange Meg fact. She can't taste salt. I mean, how does someone go through life without tasting one of the most basic flavors? Meg says it in passing. I can't taste salt while chasing after a boy she likes, and it's just weird. Honestly, if I couldn't taste salt, I don't know how I'd survive. That's like a deal breaker in the world of food. Maybe this is why Meg's personality is the way it is. No flavor in life, literally and figuratively. Number 10. Zits as weapons. Let's talk about Meg's body. Weaponizing her acne. Yes, you heard me right. Meg uses her pimples as literal weapons. In an episode where she's being bullied at school, she's
Sir, could you not hit me here? Because these are pretty sensitive. Oh!
told to use what she has to fight back. Enter Meg's zits. She uses one of them like a slingshot and hits her bully right in the face. And to be honest, I was disgusted just watching it. I can't even imagine being on the receiving end of a zit launch attack. Number 11. Love for Brian. Meg's relationship with Brian? Well, let's just say it's a little intense. After a dance where she's turned down by every guy, Brian agrees to go with her as a pity date. But Meg, as per usual, takes it way too far. She starts obsessing over him, wearing his collar, following him around, and even kidnapping him after an accidental kiss. I know, she's lonely, but there's no excuse for what Meg did to Brian. It was like she thought Brian was her one true love. He was not. Number 12. The Makeover Queen. This one's a doozy. Meg, the girl who's usually the butt of every joke, gets a full-on makeover in one episode. She goes from the awkward girl we all know and tolerate to a glamorous singing and acting sensation. Meg turns heads, becomes famous, and even meets Jimmy Fallon. But hold up, this is Family Guy. Nothing good comes from fame. She's robbed of her first time by Fallon and quickly realizes that being beautiful isn't all it's cracked up to be. She gives up the whole celebrity life. To be honest, it's probably for the best. Number 13. The Beanie Life. Meg's iconic pink beanie isn't just for fashion purposes, it's actually hiding a defect. Meg's heart doesn't beat in her chest like normal people. Nope, her heart is located at the top of her head. You know what? I'm just going to leave that there. But yeah, that's why Meg always has to wear that beanie. It's a cover for her weird anatomy. Honestly, I don't even know what to say about that. Number 14. The Lannisters of Quahog. Ever had a moment of sheer shock while watching TV? Well, that's what happened when Meg ended up in a closet, making out with her brother Chris, thinking it was someone else.
Meg?
I mean, Luke and Leia much? This awkward, uncomfortable moment sent fans spiraling. Of course, Family Guy never misses an opportunity to make us cringe, and this scene definitely achieved that. Number 15. Convicted for Love. Meg has a serious track record when it comes to getting in trouble over relationships. In one of the more bizarre episodes, Meg falls for a prisoner, completely ignoring the fact that he's, well, a criminal.
Meg's dating a convict.
She helps him escape, and when she's caught, she gets sent to prison herself.
Hi.
But here's where it gets interesting. When she returns, she's not the same Meg we know. She's a hardened criminal with tattoos and a tough attitude. And guess what? She even starts terrorizing her family. I gotta admit, as terrifying as prison Meg was, I kind of miss the old Meg. You know, the one who was just pathetic and hopelessly obsessed with finding a boyfriend. At least we could all laugh at her then. Number 16. Meg's secret talent. Okay, this one is weird but kinda cool. Meg, despite everything else going on in her life, has a secret talent. She can do incredibly realistic bird calls. I'm talking about birds of all kinds responding to her. One time, even Big Bird from Sesame Street came in response to her whistle, and he was not happy about it. But still, how cool is that? Imagine being able to summon a whole flock of birds with just your voice. Meg's random bird calling is one of the weirdest and most surprisingly impressive talents on Family Guy. The only downside is that Peter never fully appreciates her talent because, well, Peter. Number 17. Road Rage Meg. We all know Meg has a lot of frustration bottled up inside her, and it's safe to say that road rage is the least of her problems. In one episode, Peter loses his license, so Meg gets stuck driving him around. Now, things get out of hand when Peter starts bossing her around, gets his buddies in the car, and they all start getting drunk. As if that wasn't bad enough, they set her beanie on fire. So what does Meg do? She loses it. Like, completely. She goes after a driver who crashes into her car, punches him in the face, and makes him cry. Let's be real, Meg's road rage is next level. And Peter? He thinks it's awesome. I guess that's one way to get a strange kind of approval from your father. Number 18. Holy Boyfriend, Batman. Let's talk about Meg's one and only semi-successful relationship. In an episode where Meg gets a job at the mayor's office, she somehow catches the eye of Mayor Adam West. Now, to be clear, this was not a normal relationship. Adam West is much older than Meg, but in typical Meg fashion, she's totally into it. Even though Brian tries to blackmail the mayor about the relationship, things actually get kind of sweet. Meg and Adam West genuinely care about each other. But of course, Meg being Meg, things eventually fall apart. She calls it quits when she doesn't want their romance used against Adam. But I mean, dating Adam West? That's a sentence I never thought I'd say. Number 19, a beard to remember. Just when you thought Meg couldn't get any more bizarre, here's another one for the books. Meg develops a crush on a guy named Kent, but the problem is, Kent is gay, and his actual crush is on her brother, Chris. Meg, as usual, doesn't let reality stop her, and she decides she's going to make Kent and Chris hook up, whether they like it or not. So, she orchestrates a plan to get Kent and Chris together by tricking Chris into sleeping while she sneaks Kent into his room. I mean, Meg, that's your brother. This plan is weird, and spoiler alert, it
What is wrong with you?
goes horribly wrong. Meg's desperation for love and validation just reaches a whole new level of messed up here.
I can see now that you're a complete psycho!
Number 20, the tail situation. Now, here's a truly crazy fact that really makes you wonder about the Griffin family dynamics. When Meg was born, she actually had a tail. Yeah, like an actual tail. It was removed shortly after birth, but get this, Peter and Lois kept it. Not only that, but they decided to store it in a children's book and keep it in the basement. Why would they do that? No one knows. Maybe it's just Family Guy's way of adding a weird family secret to the mix, but this is one of those bizarre details that really makes you scratch your head. I don't know about you, but if I had a tail, I'd be asking my parents a lot of questions. Number 21. Home invasion crush. Here's a fun one. Meg's luck with love continues to take strange turns when, during a home invasion, she's left alone with the robbers.
Oh no! The burglars got my baby!
What does she do? She starts flirting with them. Yeah, you heard that right. Meg sees an opportunity, and instead of being terrified like a normal person, she tries to make herself charming to the criminals. Guess what? It backfires. The robbers are so unimpressed by her advances that they end up pressing charges on her after she assaults one of them. That's Meg's luck, right? Even the criminals can't stand her. But hey, at least she's consistent. Number 22. Sister's keeper. This is by far the most chilling fact about Meg. In one episode, Chris mentions having a dream where Meg ended the life of another sister they had. But here's the thing, it's not just some random throwaway comment. Peter and Lois are overly defensive about it, almost too defensive. They quickly claim it was just a dream. But the way they act makes you wonder, was this a real event? Did Meg actually have a sibling who, for some reason, no one talks about anymore? It's one of those darker moments in the show that makes you think, maybe there's more to Meg than we realize. Maybe she's harboring some deep, dark secrets. Number 23. Meg's final form. Now, this one is a bit of a game changer. Meg's entire existence in the Griffin family is a punchline, but what if I told you that in one twisted reality, Meg becomes the most powerful being in the family? No, I'm not talking about her getting a makeover and suddenly becoming the center of attention. I'm talking about a moment when Meg does something so out of left field it's almost like a redemption arc. In one Family Guy episode, Meg somehow becomes the most influential person in the house. I'm not going to spoil the whole episode, but trust me, it's one of those times when you actually might start rooting for Meg. Weird, right? Number 24. Meg's big dream. Through all the madness and humiliation, Meg's biggest dream is simple. She just wants to be loved. The problem is she's so desperate for love and attention that she goes about it all the wrong ways. But it's this desperation that makes her both pitiable and frustrating at the same time. She's the underdog of Family Guy, and no matter how much she tries to improve her situation, she just ends up making everything worse. Whether it's her weird attempts at romance, bizarre career choices, or just her general neediness, Meg's dream of finding love is something that, oddly enough, many of us can relate to. But much like Meg, the road to happiness isn't always easy, and it sure as heck isn't going to be smooth for her. Number 25. Meg's ultimate redemption. Alright, we've covered a ton of wild facts about Meg, but here's the kicker. Meg actually does have a bit of a redemption arc in some of the episodes. In one particularly heartwarming episode, Meg is offered a shot at something truly meaningful. And guess what? She doesn't completely blow it. She takes a step toward making things right for herself and showing that deep down, she's not just the punchline of every joke. It's a rare moment where Meg shines. Well, as much as Meg can shine. But as you know, Family Guy never lets things stay too serious for long. So yeah, her moment of redemption is fleeting, but